Excellent connection. I do believe we're about to be live. We're going to be live. Hey everybody, how you guys doing? This is Alex with the Linux Tube. We're coming at you live. This is one of my first live streams. I got ShaunS6000.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm from the Gamer Tube. Just started my new channel about a month ago.
That's right. And so he and I are actually good friends.
You can call it that, I guess, right? As good as it gets.
Yeah.
We met at work, and we carried it on to find other things to do, so outside of work.
Yeah. And so anyhow, we are just kind of coming on live to kind of introduce his channel, you know, maybe have him talk a little bit about what his plans are with the channel, what he's going to do. And I myself am going to be here so that if there's anybody watching and has any questions about me or some Linux kind of help, I'm here for them. So far, we don't have anybody in our chat just yet.
But we're live.
We're live and waiting.
Fat Tuesday. Everybody must be a Mardi Gras or something. What's going on?
Is it Fat Tuesday?
It's Fat Tuesday, baby.
Well, good thing I'm having a special kind of Irish kind of coffee.
Yeah. New Orleans is no fun to be in right now.
Yeah, we've already did our shots earlier though before the show, right?
A little whiskey.
Just a little.
Loosen it up after work, you know.
Homegrown stuff. I don't see anybody in the chat at all.
Well, it's prime time.
Oh, there we go. We got live chat going on. So,
what kind of questions are you willing to answer?
I'm willing to answer anything, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
just want to pick their brains, huh? See what people are thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Are you in the chat? Can you see the chat?
I have your page open, and I have the chat open.
Cool.
Slow mode is on.
That's right. I'm going to actually turn that off. Here we go. We're going to click save.
Here, I'll say something.
We're now refreshed. So there is no slow mode. It's live chat. If anybody's out there.
Yeah, we started this in Alex's living room, last summer, and we started out. We were doing it together, and realized I didn't really know that much about Linux, and decided to do something on my own. But so far, we've been able to stay friends. I'm still here in his living room, hanging out. So,
hey, the Gamer Tube's in our chat.
What up?
Whoa, what about that?
I got some questions for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have a really old laptop that's running, like Windows XP or something. I'm not even sure what core would be in there. And what's a good distro I could put on there? Maybe fasten it up a little bit. I can't even get updates to get my Wi-Fi drivers to work, and I'm just having it, and it's like so old, I can't throw it away. I can't sell it.
Right.
I was just thinking maybe I could put a distro on it, give to the kids, or
yeah, absolutely. And that's the great thing about that's the great thing about a lot of the Linux distros out there. Is that a lot of them will actually revive that laptop and bring it back to life like you've never seen it before. Honest to God. So honestly, I'm thinking that if you get something lightweight that's got like Puppy Linux on it or Antic, something like that, that isn't like, super bloated down with like a System D type software, you can definitely do that. There's a lot of light Linuxes, man, out there. So, I mean, there's literally over 600 different distros out there. And a good source to go to that'll kind of get you in that ballpark level of looking at and trying to figure out what's where is to actually go to DistroWatch and put in light Linux, and you will get a bunch of Linuxes that come up.
Okay.
And then you could start going to their because they'll have their web page addresses on there, and you can start going to some of their web pages, and they will give you descriptions of what they're more optimized for. Like some of them lean towards, older like HPs and Acer laptops and that kind of stuff, but most of them will fit the same bill. Because back in those days, if I remember correctly, the hardware wars back then were pretty much so a lot of copycats. They just were different named, you know what I mean? So what will work for one usually will work for another in your older hardware.
There's just so many, it's overwhelming. I took that other i7 that I got from a guy, you told me to take it back or whatever.
Yeah.
I took that home and, put Steam on it, and it's actually running games better than this one here does. So it's like,
you got to be kidding me.
It's yeah. It wouldn't run, the file editing or video editing software, but it's able to run games.
Well,
so
that was also like a first gen i7. It doesn't have any performance cores or anything like that. It's just
I think I need to slap some more memory in it.
It was a quad core.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that also, if you're doing video editing, you definitely got to have a lot more memory in it. A lot of memory.
I think that's really the downfall of it. It's got 4 gig sticks and
this rig I got right here, I'm running 32 gigs of RAM in it. Right now.
That's what it's upgradable to. So
yeah,
I just need to spend another $70 on it and see if that works.
But also don't go with like your cheap RAM. Get like 3200 megahertz or more. Higher. What I would look up the board, the model number on the board. Huh? Oh yeah. The RAM speed's a huge difference. Also, go into your BIOS and enable the XMP profile too for your RAM, so that way it matches up with the gigahertz, the actual clock speed of the RAM.
Okay.
You want that to happen as well.
Excuse me.
A lot of people don't do that. They'll go out and they'll buy these wonderful ASRock or MSI boards or just name it, ABC brand board, and they'll go in and put in these, processors and all this stuff, and they'll spend for these like Threadripper freaking. I'm sorry about that, guys. I need to quiet my phone. They'll spend all this money on these high-end processors and stuff, and they'll go in there and they'll set up all this stuff on in their computer, right? And they won't go in there and load the XMP profile for the RAM. And so they're not really running.
I don't even know what that is. So yeah, if I can't figure it out, you're gonna have to show me.
Sure, no problem. But it's a profile for your RAM.
BIOS, though, huh?
Yeah, it's in BIOS. Okay. And what happens is it won't adjust your clock speed on your RAM to optimize it for what it should be at.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like oftentimes it'll only run at half speed of what it's supposed to.
Right.
So yeah, that's something else you might want to do.
Yeah, I know he did upgrades to it and got it from a used place and was trying to rebuild it. So, he just slapped it together. It's a Frankenstein machine and whatever.
And that in and of itself, when you have a computer model that is sold like a Dell Optiplex or whatever, right? And
that's what it is, yeah.
And you're trying. That was just a lucky guess. Wow.
A 990, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're trying to Frankenstein that together, a lot of the BIOS that they put on there is actually written by their own teams, right? And they don't usually play well with other Frankensteined on parts. It's better to get OEM parts.
Okay.
For it. So if you're gonna get the RAM, then go get the actual Dell authorized OEM RAM if you're gonna do that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that because like I said, a lot of those big box and that's what it is. They are big box. Do you know what I'm saying? So those big box companies they write little things into their code that'll actually wind up mishandling, aftermarket stuff to the point that it's just buggy enough to piss you off, but not render it incapable. Right, and you won't see the max performances out of it and that kind of stuff. So
freezing and all that we were dealing with while I was here, doing the video editing.
I personally would have went out in Office Space the living shit out of that. Oops.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. I just had a flashback to how frustrated I was with that box. I'm telling you, I haven't met a box that frustrated me as much as that damn thing did in a while.
I should take it back to the guy I got it from, but I was trying to, just iron the bugs out.
Look, man, I've known you for how long? I've known you for a minute, man, and I'm going to tell you right now, man, you're not a make a wave kind of guy. You're not a bull in a china shop guy like I am. You're a nice guy.
I paid $100 for it, and I figure, But yeah,
if that's the case, if you don't mind just giving away $100 and not getting shit for it, why don't you give me $100? I'm being sarcastic.
You gotta do something for me,
Yeah.
Crash for me or something.
Yeah.
Get something going and fall apart, and
So tell me,
cheap entertainment.
cheap entertainment. I'll throw some sand on the floor and do the shim sham, like in History of the World.
Yeah. I know you can dance. I've seen it.
Yeah. Question. Since we're asking each other questions here.
Truth or dare?
Truth or tell. That's right. Truth or dare. Right. How do you like being a YouTuber?
It's actually pretty fun. It's an exciting idea that I could influence others and possibly get my hands on brand new stuff that no one's ever seen before and try it out, demo it, and be the voice for things like that, horror games and action games and new stuff coming out like the Steam Deck, and to be like on the forefront of something like that coming out would have just been amazing, and
hey man, Kabir's in the chat room.
All right, what's up?
Hi to him.
He gave us the finger, it looks like.
No, that's the big okay. That's okay.
I see. That's good.
Yeah. MD is awesome, guys. MD is a great human being. I've been dealing with him for a while. He helps me out with the channel. He has got a lot of knowledge on YouTube optimizations and stuff like that. So if you guys got any questions out there, you guys consider starting a channel. He's a great resource.
Yeah, so, we both use him. He's both of our friends, and he comes highly recommended. So
yes, he does. So tell me. So back to what you're saying. So you enjoy it?
I love it. It's great. It's growing really fast. Faster than I thought it would, and it's really exciting, the possibilities where it could go, and if I could just learn not to say so many times, but yeah, it's definitely fun. I lost my full-time job here earlier this week and had to scramble and get another job, and it was like I wasn't even stressed at all because I had this to kind of
offset the time
to keep my mind busy, and even though it's not successful right now or not making money or it's not lucrative, but it's like it's something for me to just keep my brain busy and not stress out about life.
So the thing, how many times Sean and I used to work together at a place, and how many times when I started my channel did I go home, did I come to work and tell you I spent hours editing, and the one word I edited out all the time was this, that. And I still do it now, but you know what, man, I've just gotten a little less picky on it. And
is that right?
Yeah. I still say it all the time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool. Cole Barnett is in here. That's awesome. Yeah, I get that vibe all the time too. Welcome, brother. Anyhow, I just, that whole thing, like I said, is just, man, it's hard. And it's really funny. It isn't until you start editing a video
rewatching yourself,
and you realize, oh my God, I picked my nose here, or I scratched my ear
right,
there, or I said how many times, know? But actually, and this may be surprising to know, I don't know about other YouTubers, but Sean's been here when I've filmed, and I actually get my thing done, my video recorded in one take. And usually now I've gotten to the point where my one take, I'm only spend about 20 minutes, 15 minutes doing any kind of editing, and it's usually trimming off the end,
just the beginning and
the end, and then adding, whatever it is I need to add to it.
Just roll with it. I think it makes us look better being natural and
it's funny,
more personable or something, I don't know.
It's funny because one of my Patreons told me today because I'm constantly talking to my Patreons and my members. So, please, join the channel. I talk to you guys all the time. You guys get priority chats. You guys get priority responses, all that good stuff. Those are perks of the channel. But at any instance, those guys I talk to all the time, and he was telling me that one of the other YouTubers that he watches, that's what he enjoys the most, is that he doesn't edit out all those mistakes. And it kind of makes him feel connected to that YouTuber as well, because he sees him making mistakes that are just like ones he would make if he were to try to do what he did. So that's kind of cool that people can connect with you on that level.
Yeah, our stuff isn't scripted. No. I've never had to do more than one take, and I cut a lot of stuff out.
Yeah,
dead silence, and the quiet when I'm sitting there watching a game or watching the video of a game or something, or a loading screen. I have to deal with a lot of that with the video games, the loading screens.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of annoying, because I don't know if you are like I am, but when I sit down to make my videos, I want to hit the record button and I want to go. I'm like a cheetah, that's being held back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a collar around my neck, man. I'm ready to record and go.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what the loading screens in a gaming content channel like yours has got to be like.
Dead time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you loaded SteamOS onto your Optiplex, right?
Yeah, I did.
So what are we playing on there today?
There was a bunch of free games I downloaded right off the bat, just mainly for my son. My 9-year-old son was over, and there's a Five Nights at Freddy's game that was free on there. He's seen in a commercial, or I don't know where he knew about it. Mm-hmm. He asked me, he's like, "Dad, can we put Steam on this, or is there Steam on here?" He knew it by name, and then it was like, "There's a free Five Nights at Freddy's game. Let's get it."
Well, yeah. Your kid spent some time with Pop OS, right?
Yeah. Navigating it.
Yeah. So
opening program. They know how to navigate it.
As a parent watching your kid game on Linux, and you being a console gamer and a gamer, what do you think that gaming experience was like for him?
He has a hard time with the keyboard controls. So do I. We're just not used to it. I haven't played keyboard games since like Myst on the Commodore 64. Or, I just really ever since consoles came out.
Bro, you just dated yourself.
In the early 80s, I just switched to the controller, and now you're able to plug in a peripheral and play with a controller. But a lot of the games are still keyboard commands, and I don't. It's too complex. There's too many different choices, and that's how the Five Nights at Freddy game was. Mm-hmm. There's no hookup for a controller. It's all, and every little stupid action has a button. Like open door, close door are two different buttons. Crouch, uncrouch are two different buttons. So yeah, it's just
kind of the cool thing though. I don't know if you spend a lot of time with the Steam, but kind of the cool thing that you could do with that too is you can actually assign keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah.
You can change
make your own.
Yeah, so you can make your own.
Right.
Also, by the way, MD Kabir just stated in the chat that sometimes he plays Free Fire. Now, I've never heard of that game before. Have you?
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's called something else. I think that's what it is, but yeah. I don't know. That's how much I don't navigate Linux that much.
So for me, when when I play, Steam. Like I did a little gameplay video the other day just to throw something out there, and I did what was it, Fable 2 on their anniversary edition? Yeah, Fable 2. I play old school games like that. I also play Call of Duty.
Was that hard to play?
Huh?
Was that hard?
No.
The game's so old.
So I'm a boomer. Everybody knows I'm a boomer, and I got a secret weapon that all boomers love. And you know what that is? Right here. I got a controller.
Yeah.
I got a controller that I use, and it allows me to play just fine. I don't have to worry about the W, S, and D, A, S, and D, and, the mouse thing, I mean, I'm old school. That's what I'm used to. This is a Logitech F710 controller.
That's wireless?
It's wireless. It's
okay.
Bluetooth. Yeah, I think it cost me right around, I'd say $60 US on Amazon. Not bad. It was one of the top rated outside of Valve, the Steam controller. It was one of the top rated controllers out there.
Yeah, those are like 100.
Compatible compatible for Linux. And I'm telling you, man, here it is again, so you can see it, guys. So you can kind of see what it looks like.
Does it have rumble?
It's got rumble.
Wow.
It's also got the triggers and the freaking bumps. You know, the bump things on it. You know what I'm saying? It's bad to the bone, man. It really is. I really enjoy it. And if you have the Logitech USB and keyboard, like they have the unified USB, it works with it too. So it's really nice.
Good to know. Product placement right there. Just throwing that out there. Huh?
If you guys want to sponsor the channel anytime, I've already given you guys a free promo.
The product works great, by the way.
Yeah, it works fantastic. I mean, if you're ever here and you want to borrow it, no problem, dude. You know, you can use it.
Yeah, that Xbox One I bought and borrowed a controller from you, and I'm not sure if the buttons are sticking or if there's something wrong with the menu inside the game, if the game's lagging. So I'm doing an update on it now because I can't get games to load on it. It powers on real fast and everything, but the games won't load.
I have 2 Xbox Ones, so if you need to do a side-by-side comparison on it, you sure can do that. You know
I should bring that over here next time, and we'll do a video on that. Or
by the way, in case most of you guys haven't figured it out, Sean and I kind of share a studio. He comes over and does a lot of his filming when I'm not filming, and vice versa. And sometimes we get together. Also, did you want to make the announcement?
I'm not having a baby.
You're not having a baby?
No.
Damn it, you lied. You told me you were.
The GamerTube has 70-something subscribers, or I don't know.
About our planning out and going to have a weekly podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'd like to do this more often and, come up with ideas. We're going to brainstorm, do an editor's meeting and, bullet point some ideas. This one was kind of just off the top of our head.
Yeah, you just got done filming. I walked in the room and you're like, hey, let's go live. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go while the steam's hot, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'd like to do this once a week, collaborate with each other, talk about updates or news and upcoming ideas coming out and stuff like that. So
right. And what's interesting is I've been doing, and it's so weird how this has happened, but I've been getting asked to do a lot of reviews of different gaming distros and do comparisons because apparently a lot of people really enjoyed that Nobara versus Big Linux for gaming series that I did on comparing the two of them, for gaming. And quite honestly, I enjoyed that. Actually, it really was a deep dive look into which one's better for gaming because a lot of people have said, oh, I prefer Nobara for gaming. There's a couple other ones out there that I'm going to be looking at pretty soon, like Regatta OS was one, and a Drager OS or something like that, or Drager. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but yeah, those guys were even referred to me. A couple of the subscribers said, hey, what about this one? Can you do a review on this one? So
keep the people happy, man.
Exactly. And that's what I'm here for.
You got tons of content on your end, and it's never ending how much stuff you can make videos on and comment on. And
what's really
that's real cool.
I see the same thing on your end. I mean, you've got how many millions of different video games across different platforms that you can.
Yeah, I've only scraped the surface so far.
You just made you got your first little paint chip to come up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You haven't even made a real scratch.
No.
I mean, you got a lot of content to be making out there for you too. So, but anyhow, so those are some of the things that I'm working on my channel. Also, there's another see, it just comes by natural. So another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about is the content that you're making, right? Is it you're gearing it for all audiences, right? Not any specific kind of audience?
Yeah, on there I have to click not for kids. There's definitely some violence, blood and gore, and some of the games I play. There's Grand Theft Auto on there, and some horror games. So it's definitely not for kids, even though probably a lot of my audience will be kids. Them getting on their parents' computers or however that works. So I try, no cussing, just, keep it PG.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to gear towards, people my generation, the real nerds that, actually play, that buy the games, that pay, work and pay money for the games and know how to like and subscribe and can contribute to the whole genre, of keeping this platform alive. And, it's all about the people that buy the games, or else game makers won't make them. And, it's ridiculous how much they are now, but I'm a generation behind. I don't even have a PS5 yet, or the Xbox X, because I can't afford it. I wait till the next gen comes out, till the Slim comes out. That's always been my rule. Going back with the PS3,
right?
I wait till all the bugs are fixed in it, and they come out with the Slim.
Well,
and by then you can find games.
I think that would make for a better user experience.
And by then you can find all the games for cheaper and used at GameStop or wherever online. And
so you're more of a budget-friendly kind of gamer.
Yeah, I like quantity. I like to play. I always search for the top 10 exclusives for that system. So for the PlayStation 4, I've played all the popular games, all the most popular games on a Google search. And they're pretty much my favorites too,
So, like, what is the most popular game out right now for the PlayStation?
The Last of Us was really probably the best game made for the PS4. And
then you just did a video on that, didn't you?
And then Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that came out from Insomniac, was just beautiful, and you could swing through the city, and it really felt like you were in the city swinging, and the fight scenes were great. And then Miles Morales was just kind of a letdown. It was like half the time, half as long as the first game. And but yeah, there's a few that I really love on the PS4. And then I haven't even dug into the Xbox One yet. So
well, Xbox One, I think is, actually the last game I played on Xbox One was a former coworker turned me on to. It was called Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, that's one of the exclusives. It's also on Steam or PC, but it's not on any other consoles.
Yeah, no,
so that's one of them.
I got to tell you, man.
And then there's State of Decay.
It was a difficult game because what was so difficult about it is it's such an expansive game. You can go anywhere. Like
I heard or read.
Yeah, I was sailing a boat everywhere, and all of a sudden this boat came out of nowhere, like ran me down, and they like jumped onto my ship and they freaking looted me, and like. It was so hard because, like, as soon as...
Was that another online player? Or?
Yeah. And, like, I would get on there.
You got pirated, bro.
Dude, I got pirated hard, dude. Dude, they make me walk the plank. And just, I mean, it was just bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and what was worse is then I remember I got so cantankerously pissed off because I would respawn again, and then they'd just kill me again.
Yeah.
It's
that's unfair about playing online. Some games, they're so good, or they have cheats or mods, or and and they're younger than you. It'll be like some 7-9-year-old kid just rocking your world. And,
I have no idea what age group was because these people weren't talking. Because I remember I was screaming at the headphones, "Stop it, please, stop it!
Mercy,
you're being mean."
Put up the white flag.
Yeah. I'm like, it was bad. Oh, it was so bad. I felt literally like a fish on the water, out of water. You know what I'm saying? I was getting owned. I mean, owned with the capital O. And it was like, I was like, man, and I put it down. I've never played that game since.
Okay, that's a pretty good review. Is there a single player campaign in that too, or is this an online experience?
You know what, man? I got to tell you something, to be honest with you.
That was a long time ago. So.
Yeah, well, no. Not only was it a long time ago, but I'm not really a how do I put it? I'm not a single campaign player. I like to play online with other people.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I do the I do a lot of the Call of Duties. I've played all the Modern Warfares, all that stuff, man. Black Ops, all that stuff, dude. You'd
be a little bit more control with a game like that.
Yeah.
guard yourself a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Holy
pretty funny.
crap, our viewer count just went up to 340 some odd viewers.
So another one for Xbox One is State of Decay, and that's one I really want to pick up and play. That'll be the first game I play on the Xbox. So there's 2 of those, and then they're coming out with a third right now that looks just amazing. So, yeah. There's always a catalog, and that's what's great about picking up the last generation. You have a catalog of just games that you're not sitting and waiting till next month when the new game comes out. You know, it's I didn't get my PS4 till Red Dead Redemption came out.
How's that game? So that's a game I've always wanted to play, but I've never did it. And from what I understand, Red Dead 2 is really gameplay worthy on Steam on Linux.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hear
the environment is alive. You know, things, the way the water moves and the way the animals move and react to you, and it's pretty cool. Can't think of the word, but other than you know, but yeah, just the world is alive, and then the gameplay is awesome. It's a great story. It becomes repetitive, just like any other game, but that's because I sat there and played it for like a week straight. You know, if you're putting it down and coming back to it every couple days or something, but as soon as it came, I played it straight through, you know, and it became repetitive, but loads of fun, loads of extra fun to find, and, you know, little secrets and things to do outside of the missions. So that's what's great about Rockstar games, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, I think the most expansive game that never became repetitive for me was Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
The first one.
Yeah.
That one, it was just expansive, and Skyrim was that way too.
Like Morrowind, or which one are you talking about?
Yeah, Morrowind. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That was a great story, man.
Yeah, Morrowind was.
I wish
fantastic.
they would remake that with the newer graphics, but yeah, that was a great story. Better than Skyrim. Skyrim just had an awesome world.
Dude,
you know,
the graphics, so I ain't gonna lie.
When that first came out.
I am a graphics slut. If a video game looks graphically beautiful, I don't care how crappy the storyline is, I will just sit there and be mesmerized. Like literally in Skyrim, I jumped on a horse and literally ran around.
Yeah.
Everywhere, just watching the leaves and the grass.
For its day, it was,
and the wolves.
It was on top of the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad.
I've played through it twice, and I could play it again. You know, that's the kind of experience you get out of Skyrim. There's so many different choices to make, and paths to take, and then from the beginning you have the different characters you can choose to play as. So yeah, I'm ready for a third playthrough, but just haven't had the time. But.
Yeah, so you know the what is it? The Elden Rings? Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elden Rings, man. That one looks so graphically gorgeous, and I heard that it is like extremely expansive world in that one.
And hard, very difficult.
Yeah,
some of the bosses.
I heard it's kind of like a on the same level as Dark Souls.
Right. But it's open end, so if you're having a hard time with one of the bosses, you just leave and go kill sheep, or level yourself up, just like in Skyrim. You level yourself up on the rats and in the beginning, and you just have to level, and then you come back to that boss later and kick his ass, or so
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds. I mean, I'm thinking about getting it just to play it because, like I said, I love the graphics. From what I've seen, all the cutscenes as well as the actual gameplay graphics are beautiful. Have you seen the viewers that we have?
I just looked down. Yeah, you got a lot of fans, man. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? We're going to say I'm Alex from the Linux Tube, as you guys know me. And, of course, this is ShaunS6000 from the Gamer Tube.
Yep.
If you guys haven't heard of him, he's a new budding channel. He's starting out on YouTube. I've kind of been helping him and mentoring him. And he's working with my guy, Khabib. So, guys, go visit his page, subscribe to him, man. Let's help this guy grow. Let's help him get to be where he needs to be. He's got a lot of good content, as you can tell in talking to him right now. We have had a lot of good. He's knowledgeable in gaming. He does a lot of console gaming, but he's also doing a lot of Steam on Linux gaming as well coming up. He's got some videos coming up of that. So just, yeah, go help him out, man. He's a good guy.
Thanks.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. It's, you know, I'm thirsty. We talk so much. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, we've only been at it
until next week, I guess.
Yeah, we've only been at it for 34 minutes, bro.
Right.
Yeah, no, we're going to start doing a weekly podcast as well. It's going to be, you know, basically Linuxy news as well as gaming news, kind of a mishmash.
Sometimes they intertwine, right?
Yeah, well, they do, actually. You know, you know, I remember the days when you would tell people, hey, I play games on Linux, and they would laugh at you. Yeah. Because all you were playing was something like TuxKart or, you know, like the native Linux games, which are like 0AD, those kind of things, you know, that come already installed, like Minesweeper, those kind of things. But when you start talking about, hey, I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 now, or, you know, I'm playing, you know, Call of Duty on it, people are like, what? No, and I mean, now it's a little bit more serious, thanks to the Steam Deck. All props and hats off to Valve Corporation for what they've done for Linux and Linux gaming. You know, I'm certainly appreciative of them, and I support them. Luxury Lifestyle.
Yeah, when I was helping you out on your channel, I sent them an email to see if they'd let us demo one.
They just laughed at you like you're what?
Last summer or whatever it was when I was over here helping you, you know, and I never heard nothing back.
Luxury Lifestyle said both are good guys. Thank you, Luxury. We really appreciate you.
Luxury.
So, you know, I mean, yeah, I did. Yeah, I sent out. You know, it's funny when I first started. You know, in my endeavors here too. There's a couple of people that I emailed, and a couple of businesses, you know, about Linux stuff, you know, about you know, demoing equipment, or see if they want to maybe, you know, in the future, I'm not right now, but as I prove myself of being who I am and that I do know what I'm talking about, and that, you know, I can build a good channel, about eventually, you know, sponsoring the channel, I basically got laughed out of the room. And, you know, in hindsight being what it is, 2020, I might have put that cart before the horse on that.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait till it comes to us, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay.
Prove ourselves first.
And then I'll be like Linus Tech Tips and be like, no, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. You know, Linus, you know, that's another YouTuber I watch a lot because he's just so freaking funny. He's so hilarious, you know, with some of the stuff that he does. His WAN show is extremely informative too, you know, on a lot of stuff going on with Windows. And yeah, he's a Windows YouTuber, but he also gives you a lot of news about what's going on with Windows that I could look at and be like, Linux doesn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so also he did do the Linux challenge, which was hilarious as hell to watch him when he tried to install, I think it was Cinnamon, Mint Cinnamon edition on, and like the answer was right there on the console, or actually in the terminal, what the problem was. And like he didn't even read that, so he wound up erasing it and starting with some other Arch-based distribution. It was a long time ago when he did it, but it was just really funny to watch him experience the struggles that even a guy who is a tech-savvy guy like him kind of experienced and was like, oh, you know what I mean? But everybody makes that mistake when they come to Linux, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when I first tried Linux, I was scared of the terminal, man. I would literally change a distro to avoid going into the terminal, or wipe, nuke and pave and reinstall it to fix whatever it was that I broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just don't do that again. You know what I mean? But you know, we all do that, and that's, you know, like
we all got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and Linux that's the thing about Linux that Windows doesn't do, is Linux will tell you what the error is. All you got to do is copy and paste that error, if you're not knowledgeable about it, into like Google, and you can read up all kinds of responses on what the error is and what it happens. You know, there's a lot of research that can be done, because it literally will tell you what a lot of the errors are. Unlike Windows, when it happens with Windows, you wind up, how do I put it? You wind up finding out what the error is in some long code that happens in a BSOD on the blue screen of death. And by then, you don't have a computer to go look up anything. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what the hell? You know, and you're certainly not going to type that whole error code into a phone. So, I mean, that's what I enjoy best about Linux. Is that the actual ability to correct problems and self-correct is very easy, and it tells you.
Yeah, without an update.
Mm-hmm.
Without a 3-day blue screen.
Exactly. We're hoping to go to your friend's house and freaking say, "Hey, man, I got this code. You know, let's look it up or whatever." You know what I mean? By then, most people are so frustrated, they just wiped Windows and reinstalled anyhow. So, but anyhow, I think that I don't have any more news to impart upon people. Do anybody have any questions out there that are actually watching? We have 333 viewers watching. Do any of you guys want to ask a question for either of us? We'll turn the floor over to you guys.
Nope.
Doesn't look like it.
Not. Got a couple good remarks from people, but yeah, no questions today, so I have to leave that line open. Anybody does need anything answered, we're always here, so
yeah,
you can look us up on our page and send us an email or a message on there.
Or you can certainly, you know, we'll both keep tabs on this live. You guys go ahead and we'll track it. If you have any questions that you guys didn't get a chance to ask, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. And next week when we go live, we will definitely answer those questions. Also, just to plan better for you guys, because in the end, the most important people to us are you guys. We would be nothing without you guys. That is 100% fact. And I acknowledge that, and so does Shaun, because we both talk about that all the time. What time usually works better for you guys, and what day, actually, would you guys be more apt to watching a podcast when we go live? Drop that comment in the comments down below. It will help us to plan a better podcast for you guys to watch and look forward to. We could always schedule it and set a timer and all that kind of good stuff of when we're planning on doing it. And, you know, you guys will get notifications as well, as long as you guys are subscribers to our channels when we plan on going live. So go ahead and do that, will you?
Yeah, check out my channel, please.
Yep.
Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
What's your channel? You going to tell them what your channel is?
Hey, I'm ShaunS6000 from the GamerTube.
That's right.
What's up?
You got to plug it all the time. You can find him.
Repetitiveness, huh?
Yeah. No, you can find him at the GamerTube on YouTube. I am at the Linux Tube on YouTube. Of course, if you found it here, then somebody just told us to continue.
Okay.
Sadkin told us to continue. Sadkin, well then, if you want us to continue, what would you like us to talk about? Because I'm here for the duration. I'm here. I don't got to go to bed for another couple more hours.
No, it's interesting how much you could put into a tower. You know, me and you were talking about building myself a tower.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm glad you mentioned that, because you know what? Take a look at this, guys. Daddy's getting ready to go on a build. Yep. The Linux Tube's getting ready to go on a build. I got one more thing to show you.
We're collecting parts.
We're getting ready to upgrade. And I bought this bad boy right here.
Well, what's that?
Oh, this is an AIO. Oh, sorry, it's upside down. It's an AIO RGB. Gonna go in my PC, my production machine.
That's a water cooler.
Yeah, it's a water cooler. It's an all-in-one water cooler.
For people that don't know what he's saying.
Yep, we're gonna put that in the production machine, and I'm gonna jump up to I want to say 16. Well, it's gonna be 20. Yeah, 16 core. Yeah, 16 core.
Come on, man.
16 cores.
Jeez.
32.
Spit it out.
Hyper threaded. Sorry.
All right. Well,
I couldn't remember. I was kind of torn between, the other processor I was looking at and this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to jump up to 16 core, 32 virtualized. So it's going to be nice. It's going to get a little extra oomph to the machine. Not
you're going to use that tower over there that we were taking apart the other day, or?
Yeah. Well, that actually interesting about that tower. Glad you brought that up too, because that tower, and this is going to be a highlight of an upcoming video that the first one, part one of it drops on Monday. is I'm actually going to build a server out of that one and going to put a Nextcloud instance on it. So I'm going to take this processor out of this.
You're going to document that and make a video
of the
show how that happens.
A video of what?
Making the server tower.
Oh yeah. Part one, I already made a part of the video, which is installing the Ubuntu server onto a machine. I made a video of that on Monday. And so and I did it in a virtual machine, and the reason why I did it in a virtual machine, before everybody hits me on that, the reason why I did it in a virtual machine. Oh, hey DT, what's up, my man? That's one of my favorite YouTubers guys out there, man. DT is bad to the bone, brother. Another boomer. Anyhow,
what's up, DT?
Anyhow, no, I did it in a virtual machine because. Good evening, brother. No, I did it in a virtual machine because I want people to understand that when you virtualize things in a virtual machine, you see it in an environment as it was intended by when the developers develop it. And also, it allows you to familiarize yourself with it without doing any hardcore damage to anything. And you can do a lot more testing that way.
A test run, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
test run. Yeah.
Before you, yeah.
I mean, I get that a lot on my channel from people that are always like, you always do stuff in virtual machine, but reality is that's the best way to do it. When developers are developing a lot of these distros, what do you think they're developing?
Figure out all the bugs.
They're developing in virtual machines, exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, upcoming soon, I'm going to be on Zero Bytes podcast. Zero Linux has invited me to go on his podcast. I think it'll be in April, I think is the time slot he was able to get me in on.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
you're just doing a Zoom or something like this? And
no, I think he connects on his Discord. I think his Discord server is where we're going to go through.
Okay. Did you ever figure out if there's anyone else in Tacoma?
Oh,
in our area?
In our area of YouTubers? Well, Tacoma has a lot of famous YouTubers in it, not Tacoma, but in Washington.
You texted me the other day, and you're like, are we the only ones in Tacoma?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it'd be kind of cool to collaborate with, if there was other people.
Yeah, dude.
Even like a cooking show or,
Yeah. Well, that'd be weird, man. I'll bring my computer to watch them cook. This is how we record.
Hey, they can cook, and we can fix their computer, and then I'll play games on it. So
yeah, no.
There's one chick that does restaurants. I mean, to cut you off, but she, an Asian girl or whatever, she goes around to restaurants and just does quick little reviews of them. But that's like the only person I know of that I've seen
here in Tacoma.
Yeah,
I have not even seen that.
Okay.
Have you actually ran into her?
No, but I've watched her videos. Yeah, and I've been like, oh wow, that looks like a good place to eat. Because she checks out. Stuff in her ethnicity or, the places I'd be regularly afraid to walk into, like the Filipino place we went to. And, like, unless somebody's taking me in there, it's like, I wouldn't know what to order. Nobody speaks English in there. And it's like, it's just kind of overwhelming, for me. But you've kind of opened me up to that a little bit more. But here off South Tacoma Way, there's just so many. And, none of them have English menus or even their signs out front are in English. But anyway, she goes to all these different places like that and gets and shows the food and how much it is. And it's kind of cool. She does like Kent and Auburn and Seattle and stuff like that too. But
I know that
also this area.
As far as like tech YouTubers, I know that Tech Hut, Brandon, he lives over in, I think, Eastern Washington.
Okay, that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but I think Gardner Bryant, which is he's a hardcore, Linux Steam Deck gamer and a YouTuber on that as well. And I think he lives over in Eastern Washington as well. But as far as over in our area, in the Tacoma, Seattle area, I don't think there's any
which is
tech
weird.
YouTube.
Totally weird.
I'm saying,
yeah.
and I don't
for how techie this area is.
Exactly. I mean, we
just don't know.
I mean, we have Nintendo has a development site
Microsoft.
here. Microsoft, and Xbox have development sites here.
Steam was even here at one point.
Valve headquarters is in Seattle.
Redmond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Valve's here.
So I mean, it's really weird that there wouldn't be as many YouTuber techie YouTubers out here in this area.
They're too busy. They got real jobs.
Actually developing.
They all got the jobs at Amazon and Google, man.
The stuff that we want, right?
Yeah.
No, I love what I do, man. I do. I really love what I do. You know, I mean, I love this channel. I love doing what I do. My only regret, honestly, and I've told you a million times, that I didn't do it earlier.
Yeah.
Honest
Me
to
too.
God, I really regret that I didn't do it earlier, because I've had this knowledge and I've had this zeal and this love and passion for Linux for so long. I've converted so many people. Heck, I converted you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just regret that I didn't do it earlier. I really do. And it has nothing to do with the monetization or anything like that.
It's fun.
I love our community.
Yeah.
I love our Linux community. We can actually agree to disagree on things, and that's what makes Linux so awesome. What we don't like, we can remove. Was you get to be a more veteran Linux user.
You're learning more at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. What you don't like, you can remove. I mean, a perfect example. Look at DT. DT, he
calling you out, man.
No, actually, Sadkin just asked if we're childhood friends. No, but I got a feeling that if we were, we would have been like freaking frack.
Was that me and you?
Yeah, they're asking about us.
We worked together for about 2 years now, and we just automatically clicked. So
yeah, DT said if you're making Linux videos for money, then you choose the wrong niche. Absolutely. There is nobody more cheaper than freaking Linux users.
Yeah, they want it free, and they want it now.
Yeah, they want free, and not as in freedom either. They want free as in free. But the truth is, you know, I do regret not doing this earlier in life, you know, because the market share, I mean, DT actually did a video recently about Linux's market share, how it's grown because of Valve's and Steam's influence. But
now people know it's actually an operating system.
It's still not huge. People still rather beat their head on the wall or their laptop lid, you know, with Microsoft than making the switch and learning a little something.
It was scary for me. I think it's scary for a lot of people. Microsoft just has the share, the commercialization share, and, you know, it's been the safe choice for so long.
Yeah, but what's interesting, and I've recently been made aware of, that outside of the United States and certain other, you know, countries,
right?
Linux is actually extremely popular.
Yeah,
and the
that makes sense.
And the versions that they're running in Windows are not 100% legitimate for whether they're just not activated or maybe they use an activator or whatever. But I don't want to get into all that technicality. But the point is Linux is actually very popular in a great majority of the world, and it's strange that it still has such a small market share. And sometimes I wonder if that isn't due to some of the damage that was done by the other Linux vets out there that were the RTFM kind of guys, where they're just like, read the freaking manual, you know, and to a lot of noobs that came along. And that's why I try to bring my channel down to actually welcome those people. I take a lot of time to try to answer those questions when I'm always in my comments answering those questions, because I get a lot of questions like that. Which distro do you recommend and why, or which one would be good for this? And I want to find out what their specs are on their machine so that I could better guide them, because a lot of people would be like, oh, just go read this, read that, you know, but if you're a noob and you don't understand Linux at all, you kind of need a mentor, you know, you need somebody to kind of help you along with that.
That's great. You're there for people.
Yeah. And you know, when I first started out Linux 20 plus years ago, I wandered into a computer shop and this dude had Red Hat on his computer, and I'm like, what is that? And he says, well, it's Red Hat Linux. And I'm like, well, how do I use that? I hate Windows. How do I use that? And he kind of took time to sit down and explain it to me. And then after that, it was always read the freaking manual. It pissed me off, but I learned by reading the manual. But he gave me that welcoming introduction to it first that I needed, you know, and then from there I was actually able to jump forward and grow.
Right.
Kind of like I did with you. You know, I answered some of your new to Linux user questions, And then after that, it was like almost every week you came up to me and you're like, hey, I figured this out. Or the one that really blew me over was when you said you woke up and you walked into the living room and your daughter was like editing, had written something with music on there and some type of synthesizer or whatever it was that she found.
Yeah.
And actually was editing it and doing all kinds of cool stuff with it. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, she got on the Pop Shop and downloaded her own program, a music editing creation program, and was making. I was like, I woke up and I heard music. I was like, what is that? Some funky piano, you know. And there's my 11-year-old daughter just geeking out on the new computer I brought home, and it was pretty cool dad moment. Yeah.
That's cool. And that warmed my heart. You know, because it proves that if you just have an open mind, you can actually use Linux and it's not scary. If an 11-year-old wasn't daunted by it, then why are we? Luxury Lifestyle just said Linux users are increasing very fast day by day. This is true. There's been a lot of, and you know, I think what started pushing a lot of people towards Linux was
Microsoft 11.
Yep, Microsoft 11. Yeah, Microsoft 11 was really, I don't even know how to put it, man. I mean, with that whole TPM module thing, it just pushed everybody, you know, towards starting to look for something else. DT just said, I remember taking a computer to Best Buy like 10 or 12 years ago and asked them to test it out. It had a bad power supply. The guy booted it up and saw the grub screen and said, Linux, cool. Yeah, I've done that a couple times, actually.
The Geek Squad.
Yeah. I was shocked that anyone working at a big box store knew what Linux was. You know, back in the early days, Geek Squad really meant geeks.
Yeah.
They were geeks. And
they were on top of their game.
Yeah, they actually knew. Now they're pretty much those script jockeys.
Right out of high school.
You know, they're script jockeys, kind of like Dell's customer service. You know, they read a script on a manual for customer service for troubleshooting.
Have you tried unplugging and plugging back in?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Of course I've done that.
But yeah, back then in the day, they did know, you know, a lot of those guys were true geeks and they knew what they were looking at when they saw Linux. And I'm sure they were like, yes! You know, in fact, DT, just so you know, man, I actually did a video that's coming out that's actually on hardware maintenance because of freezing, some of the problematic things. So, you know, and power supply was one of those things that I mentioned in there. A lot of people never check their power supply.
Wow.
They tend to go bad. They get, you know,
it's just drying too much, and
yeah, well, they get, you know, like it's constantly sucking air in, and you know, nobody really thinks to blow them out, and they start overheating and causing, you know, over voltage or under voltage,
just like a game console,
overamping, underamping, that kind of stuff. Also, capacitors on the motherboard. I didn't go that deep, but I mean, when it comes to hardware, I worked at a computer store, and those were some of the first things. PSUs are the one component not to cheap out on. You're absolutely right. That's what DT says, and that is also my advice as well. You know, don't cheap out on it. It's not worth it, not at all. It could do a lot of damage to boards. You know how many actual processors have been blown because of bad power supplies?
Wow,
cheap ass power supplies. A lot.
I know I called you from that flea market the other day, and I was going through their big bin of power supplies, and you're like, nope. I kept mentioning a bunch of them off, you know, and you weren't having it. So
yeah. Well,
I was trying to get used parts, you know, to build a tower, and it's like,
dude, that's literally.
I got to go back to work. You're like,
that's like
hung up on me.
That's literally what provides everything to adequately to your board.
Right.
You know, is everything requires a certain amount of amperage, certain amount of voltage to run on. You know, and if you are cheaping out on that, dude, you are causing a whole lot of catastrophic damage down the road for yourself through undervolting and overheating, you know, to that point, because parts are starting to have to work really hard and do things that it's just going to cost you a lot more. It's better to buy that quality power supply and put it in and have faith in it and trust it. You know, it's just better to do that, you know, and also airflow is a huge thing to a lot of PCs that a lot of people, they just don't think about. You know, like you don't know how many, and I don't know how we got onto this topic, but I love it. Hardware is my thing, my jammy jam. But a lot of people will take that infamous case and they think that they're creating a more positive airflow environment by taking the side panel off and leaving it off. That is the worst thing you can do because the fans in the box are designed to suck air in and evacuate it out.
Yeah, you taught me that the other day.
Through. You could literally put smoke in there and see the pattern of which it goes. And you don't want to occlude that. A lot of people tend to do that with laptops. I just put out a short on that as well. They'll like be using their laptop on a bed, on a comforter, that is blocking against the bottom and not allowing airflow to happen unless the vents are on the side. If there are no vents on the bottom for that, then no big deal. But make sure you understand where your fan is. It's going to be sucking that air in and venting it out. You don't want to include that. Airflow is important. And a lot of
that
people,
can be dangerous.
Huh?
That can be dangerous.
Well, once again,
electronics in the bed.
Once again, you could be having.
That's a big deal like 20 years ago.
Yeah, like
all the iPhones are overheating and laptops
up in people's pockets and that kind of stuff. Right. Yeah. But I mean, if you spend, like you got a Legion laptop, that's a couple grand right there, and you're gonna fry it up, but because you overheated the damn thing. A lot of people do that. So that's hardware is an important thing that a lot of people just kind of take for granted. And hardware has gotten arguably a lot easier to put in computers. A lot of it's all plug and play. You don't need the big box stores to tell you and say, Linux, cool. You know what I'm saying? But you got to also know what you're doing too.
It feels cool having it. How fast it loaded up that first time instead of like loading Windows, it was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. That's how I knew it was just like, it was going to change my world, Going from the 3 days of updates when you first load up Windows is like, I loaded up my first Linux and it was just the screen just filled up with all that information and it was done.
Yeah, makes you feel like you achieved something. Yeah, like you just went and launched a rocket at NASA or something.
Who wrote all that, man? Wow.
Yeah,
somebody was busy.
Yeah, Linux, does speed up. It's so light, and like I said, like Antix Linux distributions, they're really fast. A lot of your OpenRCs are really, really fast too. There's just a lot of different distributions out there that are optimized for speed. And I'm telling you, you can put it on an old laptop and it's like, you're looking at this like, why didn't this ever run this way with Windows?
Where'd everybody go? We lost our crowd, man.
I don't know. A lot of people must have went to bed.
I think that's it for us.
Yeah, they must have went to bed. I don't know. Lost connection, whatever. Anyhow, this has been fun chatting. It was great seeing you, DT, in the chat, and also Kabir and Sadkin. Thanks for joining Luxury Lifestyles. Thanks for joining us. You guys have a great evening.
You guys are awesome for watching and giving us a little feedback there.
Right.
Thank you.
And also shout out to my Patreons, Mislav and Bomarito. You guys are the best. Talk to you guys and see you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Check me out. ShaunS6000 at the GamerTube. Love you. Bye.
And we're done.
All right.